Good morning, everyone. Alex Doratz here again, and today we are gonna talk about this, Jazz Jackrabbit 2. Specifically, the 25th anniversary of the game. So yeah, this game right here came out in 1998, and right at the end of the whole shareware DOS era, basically. In the early 90s, you had basically Apogee and Epic releasing some of the best games on PC, like you had Apogee with Duke Nukem and Commander Keen and Wolfenstein, Rise of the Triad, stuff like that. And then you had Epic, or Epic Mega Games as they were known back then, had Jazz Jackrabbit and Jill Jungle and Epic Pinball and all these cool games. And when Jazz Jackrabbit 2 came out, it was sort of the last game of that era, because right after this, Epic would change their name. Like, not only will they change their name to Epic, just Epic Games, they stopped being Epic Mega Games. They released a little game called Unreal at the end of 1998. So yeah, really, this game came out like just a little before everything changed forever. Because once Unreal released, yeah, the whole industry basically changed. It all started with id Software, which came out of Apogee, and Epic picked up the reins with Unreal, and funny how that works out. Now, I haven't really seen other YouTube channels discussing this anniversary, at least not the ones I follow, like, especially ones I expected to do it, you know? So I feel like I'm in the minority here of doing an anniversary video. It's weird. So I've invited a couple other people with me from the YouTube community who I know are huge fans of this game. The first one I want to introduce is Bart, also known as DOS Gamer on YouTube. He has a whole bunch of old gameplay, and he does live streams every Monday. Occasionally he does like multiplayer streams, so like we've done Revolt recently and Worms, and super great guy, and I've known him for a while, and asked him if he wanted to do this video with me. He said yes instantly. I was like, yeah, I definitely want to be a part of this. So I've also invited Clint from LGR. Have been watching his videos since the early 2010s. I must have started watching him around 2013, which was right where he started taking off. And instantly, like, I realized this guy and I, we were just on the same wavelength in terms of games. And when I saw his Jazz Jackrabbit 2 videos, and Jazz Jackrabbit videos in general, I knew, like, yeah, if I ever do an anniversary video or some kind of video about Jazz Jackrabbit, I had to ask if he's interested. So I messaged him on Patreon, and he said, yeah. He wasn't really difficult to ask about this, and so I'm very grateful for that. What we're gonna do today is just take a look back at this game in particular, and basically how it has affected us, the fans, the community. So we're going to see how we all feel about that, and of course, if you have any experiences or, you know, feelings you want to share about Jazz Jackrabbit 2, please do that in the comments below. I'd love to read them and just hear how this game has affected you, if it has. Like, if you're new to this, awesome. Like, maybe this can introduce you to it. So the first question we're going to ask today is, what are your earliest memories of Jazz Jackrabbit 2? So, yeah, Bart, do you have any early memories of this game?
I remember back in '98 that my father bought a second-hand computer of his brother, and they had some games on that computer. I've seen them before at their place, but not all of them. One of them was June 2000, which I didn't really like at the moment. And one of the other games was Jazz Jackrabbit 2, and that opened like a world for me. Like, I remember Jazz Jackrabbit 1 from MS-DOS, multiple versions, played the Christmas version, probably the shareware version, later even the full version. But Jazz Jackrabbit 2, I didn't even know that was a thing at that moment, and I was so in. I was really absorbed by the game. I enjoyed it. The graphics were awesome. The way levels were designed, it was great. All the episodes, I think it didn't take me that long to finish the game. It was really cool. Later on, like six months later, I was like sleeping over at my grandparents' place, and for 2 nights, and they told me that we were gonna visit by the company of my uncle the next day. Turns out that that's Project 2 Interactive, the company that published or distributed Jazz Jackrabbit in the whole of Europe. I didn't even know that, and I came home to my grandparents' place with this Secret Files, the standalone expansion of Jazz Jackrabbit 2 with Lori, an extra episode, and I still had to stay there for 1 night. I think I read the manual 4 times that night. It was insanely cool, and I was really looking forward for even more content. By that time, I was already playing the game online. I met people that I still connect with every now and then, just from playing this on the internet. And I know for a fact that Jazz Jackrabbit 2 was my first online gaming experience that I ever had back in the late 90s. I made friends on the internet, we built levels and tile sets together, because it came with a level editor. At that moment, I'd never seen a game before that came with a level editor, and I really was invested in learning how that would work.
Alright, thanks bud. That was great. Yeah, like having Jazz Jackrabbit 2 as your first online experience, that's gonna be exciting. Yeah, like me and you, we played together recently. We played the whole games together, didn't we? Like co-op. So yeah, if you want to check out me and Bart playing Jazz Jackrabbit 2 together, whole game, just co-op online, you can go to this channel and check out the videos there. He's uploading them pretty frequently now. So Clint, how about you? How did you first encounter Jazz Jackrabbit 2?
Greetings and welcome to an LGR talking about something on another channel thing. Yeah, I run the channel LGR on YouTube, and I talk about computers and games and Jazz Jackrabbit 2 sometimes. So let's talk about it now, because we're coming up on the 25th anniversary of it, which is absurd, and I don't even know what to think about that, so I won't think about it. So the earliest that I remember coming across Jazz Jackrabbit 2 at all was a demo disc, I guess, probably is where I got it, because it definitely would have been too large for me to download over dial-up back then. It was around 1998, well, no, probably 99 if I had to guess, because I think the demo came out tail end of 98, something like that. Anyway, it probably came from a PC Gamer demo disc. That's where I got a lot of things back then, because you know, going out and just buying the game, didn't have the money to do that. So a whole lot of PC demos for me. And so we picked that one up. I'm like, holy crap, Jazz has a sequel. That's nuts. I loved the first game, played the crap out of it, mostly the shareware episode because it was free. But I also had like this Jazz trilogy by B&N Software and CD-ROM that I got at Kmart. It fulfilled my Jazz needs for a bit, even though it wasn't the complete full game. So getting any more Jazz Jackrabbit at all was just nuts. And so the Jazz Jackrabbit 2 demo, honestly, I got a lot of life out of that. Replaying that shareware episode over and over. And then there was the multiplayer mode. Also got a ton of fun out of that. My brother and I playing that, I think, over the whole like split keyboard thing, like one of us controlling Jazz on the left keyboard and Spaz on the right, something like that. And yeah, just shooting the crap out of each other, playing deathmatch, trying to collect as many gems as possible. Just a lot of fun. It felt like a real-time Worms almost. Except that you're running around trying to collect things too. But yeah, just being able to blow each other up. Or, you know, Lee Arrow, that kind of a thing. Yeah, the fact that it was these new characters, well, one new character and a classic character I really liked, reimagined them. I don't know, I thought it was great, like right off the bat. The only thing I was iffy on was the more zoomed out look of Jazz 2 compared to the first game. I got used to it, of course, and now I kind of think it's better. Because you can see more of what's going around, and the enemies coming, and you don't necessarily get as much of that accidental damage and like knockback and all that kind of awfulness that you would sometimes get on Jazz 1. So there's a lot to like there, but it was only the demo, and that's all I had for a good few years. I don't even think I got the full version of Jazz 2 until like, I don't know, 2004 or 5 maybe. And to be honest, I never really played it. I just kind of got the full game at some point because it was like on sale somewhere, probably Electronics Boutique. In fact, no, I had the Jazz 2 demo from a demo disc, and then I got the Holiday Hair edition of Jazz 2. Played the crap out of that as well. And that was fine until I got some like discounted disc for the full version. I think it was just in a jewel case. So yeah, by that point, I kind of didn't even feel much need to play all the rest of the episodes, and I didn't really fully play the game all the way through until I did the review of it on my channel. And it was at that point that I saw all the other things that it was actually doing, and yeah, it gave me more of an appreciation for it. There's a lot of game there, and then, you know, messing around with the whole like creation studio, whatever it was called, where you can make your own levels and distribute your own content, and then discovering all of those kind of things. That was released in Europe, where you had the Lori character and whatever that version of the game was called. I don't know, I have them all somewhere, but they're all packed up in storage right now, or I would have props. But yeah, let me just give props to the game, because it's a good game, and I immediately enjoyed it.
Thanks a lot, Clint. That was great. Yeah, I think my experience was very similar to yours in that I first encountered the game on a shareware CD. Now, my dad was subscribing to this, I'm pretty sure I've told this before to people who've been on my channel before, but my dad was subscribed to basically a magazine called Hjemmepc, which is Norwegian and means home PC. And the magazine would come with like a shareware disc with a bunch of stuff every month. So in the June-July issue, which I have right here, I still have the original disc. June-July of 1998, this CD came with the magazine, and it had Fighting Force, Lords of Magic, and Jazz Jackrabbit 2 on the disc. So yeah, it's wild that I still have this. But yeah, that was my first experience, at least, with Jazz Jackrabbit 2, was playing that demo. Yeah, I was super into like stuff like Animaniacs and Sonic and all these 90s cartoons on TV, and like being able to play a game that was in that style was really awesome to me. Like I wasn't really that familiar with the first game. Like I had some neighbors who played it on their PC and stuff, but I never played it myself. So Jazz Jackrabbit 2 was my introduction to the whole Jazz Jackrabbit thing. So yeah, I was just blown away by how awesome the whole game was, basically. Especially loved the intro cutscene. That was really awesome to see. Like I thought it was amazing just seeing that kind of animation on our computer back then. So yeah, that was my first experience. I didn't play the game online. I think I played it together with my siblings. I have two brothers, and I think I played it with both of them, honestly. Yeah, we had fun with the game, playing it together, and mostly co-op. I don't think we played anything competitive, but we did play it co-op, and you know, that was great fun. Love that shareware demo, honestly. Yeah. I never really made any of my own levels either, so it's very exciting to hear that you and Bart really got into that. That's something I wanna dive into maybe later, because now I have the full version. I've had the full version for years, and I really want to dive into the level editor, see what I can make, because you can make your own custom tilesets like Bart mentioned, and basically make your own games in that level editor. It's insane. You have a lot of control over everything. You can even make your own custom music for it if you want to make like a track and tune or something, and that's what I did for a level Bart did recently. I composed the music for that track, for that level, and even supplied some graphics and stuff. Yeah. Now we have the next question, which is, how did the game shape you and your tastes? This is probably a bit more tricky question, so gonna be interesting what you guys have to say about that. So yeah, Bart, how did this game shape you?
Before I played Jazz Jackrabbit 2, I played my fair share of platformers. I always have been a great fan of Duke Nukem 1 and 2 especially, but also all the other Apogee platformers like Word Rescue, Math Rescue, but think about Hocus Pocus, you name it, I played a lot of them. I can prove it. Crystal Caves, didn't play it back in the day, but fair. played it later, so I'm good now. I'm an official tester of Crystal Caves HD, okay? So get off my back. But the thing is, because of Jazz Jackrabbit 2 came with this level editor, you kinda take the time to, as a young kid, to see how certain stuff was made and what makes a level good and what makes design good. Not stating that I'm the best of a designer or level maker, level builder for that matter, but because of Jazz Jackrabbit 2, I kinda do know what's good and what's not. As a YouTuber that plays video games, we get the same question a lot, right guys? What is your favorite video game ever made? We don't particularly have a favorite video game, but I do have to say that it's safe to admit that Jazz Jackrabbit 2 might as well be mine. As a platformer, that is. As for my taste in gaming, because of Jazz Jackrabbit 2, I've grown even more fond of platformers, old ones, new ones. It doesn't really matter as long as it's a good game, the visuals are nice, and it features some surprises, then I'm all up for it.
Yeah, thanks, Bart. Yeah, obviously, like, if you played around with the level editor, you would maybe have that as your introduction to game design and a lot of visual design in general, like you made your own tile sets and stuff. So yeah, that's an interesting way how that game shaped you and how it introduced you to a lot of these concepts that were a bit outside of the game itself. So Clint, how did this game influence you? I'm very curious to hear about that.
How Jazz Jackrabbit 2 shaped you and your tastes. I don't know if it did. I don't know, I feel like I'm in the same shape. My tastes are I was pretty much already into that kind of game, you know? I feel like Jazz Jackrabbit 2 was sort of a last hurrah for 2D platformers. Like strictly 2D animated platformers on the PC at that time. Because there were a bunch of them in the 90s, and then this is the very end of the 90s, and then after that it's like we got a resurgence of it with the whole indie game scene and things like that coming across, or coming along later on in the 2000s, very late 2000s. Yeah, but that was like a good 10 years where like 2D platformers on a PC, you just don't see that. Yeah, I think if nothing else, it sort of filled that gap for me. So I don't know if that shaped my tastes or anything, but it really acted as like, okay, this is it. This is the peak of 2D platformers on PC for a while. And it really wasn't until much later on with the indie game scene, it's like, oh man, bringing back 2D platformers, that's cool. But yeah, Jazz Jackrabbit 2 felt like the apex, so to speak.
Yeah, it brings me back to what I was saying at the start of the video. Basically, this game was the last of its kind in a way. A lot of those games you just didn't see after this for a good while, yeah. As for me, as you might have noticed, I'm a furry, proud of that. Obviously, games like this influenced that. I don't know if that was intentional. You had cartoons and platformers like this all over the place in the 90s with like animal characters. It probably helped shape me as a person and influencing making, furry characters and anthropomorphic characters and stuff like that. The music, definitely. Like, this game introduced me to tracker music. Like, I had no concept of what tracker music was before this. Like, as far as I knew, you only had CD audio and MIDI. Like, that was it. I was familiar with music on consoles, like Super Nintendo and the Nintendo 64, and it was kind of similar to that, in that how it wasn't audio per se, but it was like samples that were played. And tracking music was very similar to that. You had your own samples and you could manipulate them and do whatever you wanted with them, and in terms of file size, it was amazing. Like, the demo for Jazz Jackrabbit 2 is tiny. Like, the music quality was very high compared to like MIDI and stuff, so obviously that was impressive, and I have made some tracking music and it's something I want to do more of. So yeah, definitely have to thank Jazz Jackrabbit 2 for getting me into that scene. Okay, so final question. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the future of the Jazz Jackrabbit series. What do you hope to see in the future? Like, do you think the franchise should stay as it is, like just a product of its time and not really having anything done with it? Or if possible, would you want to see it revived in some way, like a reboot or remake? Like, so, Bart, Clint, what are your thoughts on this?
Where do you see yourself now, Bart? And where do you see yourself in 5 years? Jazz Jackrabbit? Who's that? Not long after Jazz Jackrabbit 2 and the Christmas version, they were already working on a 3D implementation of Jazz Jackrabbit, and it was going to be called Jazz Jackrabbit 3 or Jazz Jackrabbit 3D. There is this 2-3 level demo out there. It's not particularly good. I'm not really sure if it's a good or a bad thing that never got finished, because all the Jazz Jackrabbit games ever made hit the nail on the head. But we'll never know if Jazz Jackrabbit 3 was gonna go in the same path. If somebody ever decides to pick up Jazz Jackrabbit again and make a new game, then I hope it's gonna be a 2 or 2.5D platformer. Why? I've seen it go wrong, but not always. If you look at Lemmings, Worms, GTA, Duke Nukem, they all went 3D, and not all of them are success stories. At least not in my book. Not a fan of all of the 3D implementations that those IPs got. But I would love for Jazz Jackrabbit to get the same treatment that Rayman got. Remember Rayman Origins from 2015 and Rayman Legends? Those were worthy 2.5D platformers, which I would love to see on Jazz Jackrabbit 2, and not like what happened with Wacky Wheels or that Super Frog HD remaster that they made 10 years ago. Be careful, that's all I want to say. If Jazz Jackrabbit is getting a new chance, new life, a new game, then please be careful with it and make it cool. But I hope it's a 2D platformer and not an FPS or a third-person shooter, because Jazz Jackrabbit's supposed to be 2D in my book.
Yeah, in terms of what I would hope for with Jazz Jackrabbit 2 in particular in the future, yeah, it'd be nice to get some sort of like all-encompassing re-release of all of the content for it in just one nicely put together pack. I mean, I've seen, you know, there are compilations that you can just download or whatever, but it would be lovely to see like a proper sort of fully upgraded re-release package for modern systems, consoles too, whatever, man. Release it on everything. The game would do great on Switch, I think. But yeah, all the like the European packs and the holiday hairs and the add-ons, and maybe some community content too. Just add a 4th character, whatever, man. I don't know. You play as Devon Shell. I don't care. It'd be great to just see new anything related to Jazz Jackrabbit 2. But really, the series in general. Yeah, I mean, I was super bummed when I learned that Jazz 3 existed, or Jazz 3D, whatever, and then it was canceled. And then, you know, eventually played the leaked version of that, and it was like, I could see why it was canceled. But I still wish that something had been done with it since then, not counting like weird Unreal Engine demos. Like, there's been little things that Epic have done with the character in the intervening decades. But not much. Surprisingly not much. I really thought that Jazz and his, you know, cohorts would come across in some form of something else, like another sort of 2D platformer. Epic, I thought, would really do something after they did, or they sort of partnered with folks to do Shadow Complex, a sort of a 2D, 3D side-scroller thing. It was more of a Metroidvania game, but I saw them doing that, and I'm like, oh, heck yeah, maybe Epic's gonna start doing some platformers again, bring back Jazz. They never did. I just want to see more of the character. I don't know. It's a great character, and I don't care what form it really takes. I just want to see some more Jazz come out there, because I think there's a lot of opportunity and potential there. You know, family-friendly characters, and again, like I said, on Switch, I really think that kind of thing would do well. But you know, here's hoping that any kind of acknowledgement will happen in the future. Like, it'd be great to see even just see Epic put out like a quick little, hey, 25th anniversary. Heck yeah, that was great. But I doubt they will, so thank goodness for videos like this, where the community can come together and just sort of reminisce and remember the good times. Yeah, Jazz Jackrabbit 1 and 2 and 3 and all of them, man. I want to see him get more respect.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there. yeah, I also agree the game would do really well on Nintendo Switch. I have a Nintendo Switch. I would be floored to have the entire game and all the side content and stuff just on the Switch, on the go, anywhere. That would be amazing. Absolutely. I personally would love to see a proper remaster of both the two first games, like, because a big problem with the first game, as Clint mentioned, it is very zoomed in. I would love to see like what has been done in some source parts and stuff, like just have a better improved experience, more polished, you know, a proper remaster basically of the first couple of games would be amazing. And yeah, I would kill to have the series rebooted in some way. Like, I think these games could work really well in the modern era. Like, just refresh it a bit, you know, keep the characters the same. Like, the personalities have to be on point. Like, Spaz has to be Spaz, Jazz has to be Jazz. Like, Jazz is cool, Spaz is crazy, and Lori can be, you know, kind of sexy and, you know, kind of there. She is the least interesting character, but you can do a lot with her, I think. So absolutely, I think, like, the series deserves a revival. I absolutely think so. So yeah, that about wraps it up for the anniversary. It's insane. 25 years. And we haven't seen anything since that. That is sad. So epic. Play Platoonsky. You guys, please don't let these games die. Like, sell off the IP to someone who actually wants to do something with them, you know. I don't know, just give us something new, you know, it's been far too long, so... let me know what your thoughts are. I would love to hear your answers to these questions in the comments below, so please do that. And of course, like, subscribe, I got more videos coming. If you like, leave a donation on PayPal, I got a link in the description below. And as always, take care.